So, things you may notice that are different about me, is I'm being less happy. I've been very fake happy a lot in my life to make other people more comfortable. People are always more at ease when you're like smiley and, whatever. There's a reason that most people who are entertainers and everything are wearing a smile all the time or trying to make you laugh or whatever. I also am wearing a much shorter haircut, something I'm a little more comfortable with. I have tried to look somewhat feminine in my short hair in the past in an attempt to make women who might date me more comfortable. And I'm in a solid relationship, so I don't need to worry about that as much. I gained a bunch of weight, and I gained a bunch of weight because my spouse specifically asked me to. My spouse likes rounder, is better, and also I gained a bunch of weight, I think because I stopped like soccer coaching and stuff like that, and I was a little less active. And like when you're dealing with a lot of stress, you take less good care of yourself. And my entire life has been decently stressful, but my spouse's health has required a lot of care, and then relationship issues have been complicated. I am in the process of losing some weight. I am not comfortable being this heavy, even though, it's cute. I don't necessarily want to be cute. I've come to realize I am uncomfortable with being this curvaceous. It's uncomfortable for me, and I would much rather go at least back to being somewhat muscular. And I would prefer that, so that's what I'm doing. I've been exercising nonstop for like 2 months, almost every day, and that's been good for me. That's helped me a lot, actually feel better. And also exercise was sort of something I was denied a lot growing up, because I wasn't comfortable doing girly exercising, and I wasn't allowed to do boy exercising very much. It's not that always it was punished, although sometimes it was, but sometimes it was just my brother's working out with like my step uncle or something, and I'd come over and there's just this sense of not being invited. And then sometimes my birth mother would be uncomfortable and be like, oh, here, come over here and do these stretches with me, and this is really good for, making your waist and your hips look better or whatever, and let's do this exercise. And doing this exercise kind of a thing is uncomfortable for me, but you do it because you're told to, and because it makes everybody else comfortable. I am not around my family right now because I moved for my spouse, and that's the first time. Even when I moved out, I lived, half an hour to 40 minutes away from parents and siblings and stuff, and my entire adult life I've been near them until the last almost 2 years. And gradually over that time, I have also, for the first time in my life, had someone supportive and who did not immediately reject any expression of me being masculine. For the first time, if I'm like interested in something, it's not blown out of proportion or else disregarded. And that's very unusual for my life. For example, I like fantasy, and most of my life I've really liked fantasy. And if I say to my family or people I've known in the past, churchgoers and things of that nature, it's either, oh, fantasy is evil, or else there's this relief when someone's like, fantasy's not evil, but here, have this, and they give you like a fairy statue. And, at first you're just so relieved to have fantasy in your life. But then you start to get sick of having so many fairy statues. And there's so many unicorns. And the unicorns were covered in flowers. And so you're like, hey, I like dragons. I like Griffin. They don't give you dragons and griffins. They keep giving you fairies. They keep giving you unicorns. And even when you buy yourself a more masculine unicorn statue and it's big and you put it right in smack dab their faces in the middle of your living room so that when they walk in the door they can see it, no, they still want to give you the girlier ones. Until you're to the point where you're like, fine, I'm getting rid of all the fantasy stuff if it will just get you to stop giving me fairies. I am doing things a little differently. This therapist has experience with transgender people and transgender people that have needed resources in the past and stuff, but because of the amount of abuse and stuff that I've gone through, and I have a lot of complicated issues and misconceptions and prejudices and whatever about gender because of how I grew up, so I have to deal with all of that, not just because it's good for me, but actually I would not even be eligible to physically transition without dealing with that first, because sometimes when people are abused, they dissociate away from the gender that was abused, and they have to make sure that I'm not doing that, which I understand. That's fine, but also, first time I was aware of being uncomfortable with my genitals was 3. So, I mean, I am growing out my body hair and not shame shaving, which I've been shame shaving since pubic hair first started growing in under my arms and in other places. I was like 7-8 years old and I was taking my school scissors, the little clumsy ones for children. I was taking those and trying to cut my hair. I've always taken really long showers because of shame shaving, and a couple of times in my adulthood I let my body hair grow out and no one was comfortable with it, so I shaved it again, and I'm letting it grow out, and for the first time I'm letting my PCOS do its thing. And I don't know if you know anything about people with PCOS or gender dysphoria or any of this. I guess I should do some sort of like educational terms or something. PCOS, you get extra hair, you get a little bit extra testosterone naturally, so I am very sorry to all of the kids who see this and they're like, desperate to get on testosterone. They're like, HRT would save my life if I could just have that, and I'm so sorry that my body naturally produces a little extra, and I can get fuzz growing in and scruff without it. I don't get like a full beard, but I call it my beard. It's not at full length yet because it's still growing back in. I only decided to let my body hair grow out like maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I'm still very much processing, but I'm trying to take it slow. Thanks. I am trying very hard to go slow and process and do what's gonna make the rest of my life better than it has been thus far. And the biggest thing for that for me would be to actually be me and not be the me that other people are comfortable with or that other people wish I was, or be some sort of reflections of that, or try to be some sort of compromised version of that, like I have done my whole life. And I realize that means the majority of people who know me or have been part of my life will never be again. And I am finally to a point in my life where I feel I'm in less pressure to keep people in my life than I do to keep me in my life, because without me, I'm not alive. I'm trying to comprehend that life could be like realistically happy. I've never considered life to be a good thing. It's always been rather cruel and demented and not friendly. And I'm trying to comprehend that such things could happen. It's strange because I have actually volunteered most of my life with children, with people with special needs, and with the LGBT community. It's not like I just found out that transgender people exist like 2 months ago or something. I have actually worked with transgender people. I've worked with transgender people so closely that I have helped talk them out of suicide. I have helped get them to a hospital when they attempted. I have taught classes or whatever. I don't know. I have actually taught some people who were transgender and transitioning and stuff through how to have sex because they couldn't process doing it as the gender of their, identity, and they hadn't correlated that what they were doing physically didn't match what they felt internally, and that it wasn't making sense to them, and so they were having trouble. Like I've done a lot, and yet never once in that entire time did I ever think that I could transition, that could ever be me. Most of my adult life I have presented as, again, either a butch-ish lesbian or else flat out just androgynous, because it's more comfortable for people in my life for me to be at least some part girl. And it doesn't matter that I am as old as I am. It doesn't matter that I came out when I was 19 and I'm 35. People are still uncomfortable and still are like, oh, you look so much nicer with your hair a little longer, or oh, I like it when you grow your hair out. It doesn't matter that I've been trying to cut my hair since I was 5, and it didn't matter how in trouble I got for it. I still kept doing it over and over again. It doesn't matter that when I was 18 and I finally got out of the situation I had been, I had my dad cut my hair to my shoulders, and it's never been longer than my shoulders since. In my entire adult life. It doesn't matter. People still say it to me all the time. And I just can't keep compromising. I've never just been me, and every time that I've ever been excited to be me, even a little bit, people have shut me down in my past relationships, in my life, friends. It's all just been shut down. If I liked my hair in a guy cut, it needs to be shortened. If it's short, fine, whatever, but okay, but it can't be a guy haircut. It needs to be a girlier one, or else I'm breaking up with you. I remember I cut my hair in my second relationship, and it was a guyish one, and I was so happy. I was so proud. I was so delighted. And I took so many selfies. I took so many pictures of myself. I was so pleased. I looked like a boy, the most like a boy I'd ever looked in my life, and I was so happy. And I wasn't wearing any jewelry because whenever I go out in public, I have to wear earrings, necklaces, and come across as more girly, presentable, be presentable. And my girlfriend at the time, I came to her all happy. I was so happy. I was so excited. And she was just like, you like that? And just her face and her expression and her stuff, she's like, oh, I definitely liked it better before. Honestly, I could have standed it longer. I didn't cut my hair again for the entire rest of that relationship, trying to save it. Obviously, it didn't work out. That's just life. But I've always been very quick to accept things and to say it is what it is. Nothing to do but accept it. Doesn't matter how you feel about it. It matters what you do about it. And to a certain degree, I think that's true, but I've kind of taken it to an overkill where I always do what is necessary. I've been told I have chronic depression since I was 6, and I don't spend a lot of time laying around because things need to be done. I have active depression. I am depressed 24/7 all the time, but I still do my chores. I still take care of everyone. Still make sure everything's how it needs to be for them to all survive, for everything to work out, for there to be a roof over the head, clothes on the back, food in the belly, healthcare provided for. And just don't think. And if you feel something, oh well, ignore it because it doesn't matter what you feel. It is what it is. And I'm trying very hard and finding it very difficult to not just give up on this entire thing, even though I'm thinking about it so much. It just feels so unrealistic, and I feel so guilty for even considering making other people suffer. But I can't have the second half of my life be a reflection of the first. There won't be a second half if I don't do something. So, what I'm doing right now is going to therapy, exercising and trying very hard to just let myself like what I like and to accept that I like what I like and that it's okay to like it even if other people don't, and that it's okay to be me. And that's extremely difficult for me. I mean, I've been so completely trying to escape reality, so completely dysphoric and dissociative, and I mean, I have PTSD, but I dissociate even besides the PTSD. I've been so completely disconnected from myself that I don't even know what I look like. I realized actually, if I was in a police lineup or something and I had to pick me out of the lineup, I would not be able to do it. I don't look in the mirror, and when I do look in the mirror, it's to see if, oh, are the buttons buttoned up? Oh, is there a stain? Oh, is stuff where it's supposed to be? I don't look at the person wearing it. I don't look at the person underneath. And if I do, it's to pinpoint one thing. Oh, I got a scratch here. Let's look at the scratch. It's not look at me. So, that's also been a difficult thing to deal with. I have so completely been uncomfortable with my body that I can't recognize myself. Which is another hopeful thing about doing YouTube videos, is hopefully I will begin to recognize myself, or be able to look at myself. The more what I see matches what's in my head, the person that I see when I dream is a man. The person that I see when I'm having sex is a man. The person that I see when I'm daydreaming is a man. It's just not the person that I see when I'm alive. So I don't think about that. And I don't look at that. And I'm trying to just be more comfortable in my own skin and look more like myself. And that means definitely having a differently shaped body, which is the exercising, and anyway, I think that's all I have to say for now.